Part 5 on my 30-part series for all Ohio ODRC penitentiaries. This one's on Southeastern Correctional, more commonly known as Lancaster. Let's try this again. I did it last night and it glitched and did something really weird with the text that I didn't do, so I had to delete it because people was telling me in the comments. 5900 BIS Road, which stands for Boys Industrial School. I'm going to get into that. It's in Fairfield County. Google states that it's 6 miles from Lancaster. I was always under the impression that I was in Lancaster the whole time I was there. It opened in 1980 as the prison that we know it as now, to hold 2,034 inmates. But the Juvenile Youth Offender Program, BIS, was opened in 1857, y'all. This is a really old place with original buildings, and there was even a farm there. Mind you, this is back in the day when human beings weren't very nice to other human beings. A lot of things was going on back then that ain't now. There's a lot of horror stories of things that went on with these kids there. People claim it's haunted. I'm gonna go into all that. It's a farm there. They had cattle. There was people who were there, like not only COs but even older inmates, who claimed they used to use the cattle to not only with the food but even the milk as the dairy right on the farm, and ODRC would save a lot of money, like back in the 60s. Maybe I heard they did it up until like the 90s. I don't know, maybe someone in the comments could let me know if that part's true. But 1964 they opened it as Fairfield School for Boys. It was originally built for that reason, to be used for vocations, to teach kids things so that when they got out. But it was for the youth, and I've heard a lot of horror stories and bad things. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to use your imagination as to what I'm getting at. But there was a lot of things people claim happened to these poor kids while they was there. This is a minimum/medium security prison, meaning they hold level 2s and some level 1. So when you first get there, you go to M dorm. M dorm and this other building, which I can't remember the name of it and I can't find the information. Somebody let me know. The program place. Those two buildings, right? The place with the white pillars in front, I'm going to show it, and M dorm were the two original buildings. All the rest of the buildings were built either in the 60s or the 80s, like I just said, but they were made of brick, and they're more common, a more recent structure, we'll put it that way. But those other two I just mentioned have original wood, original walls. You could just feel the energy in there, that you're literally walking on the same old creaky wood floors that people walked on in the late 1800s. M dorm is a house. It's literally the house that was on the farm, and it looks like the old-timey, like Louisiana, New Orleans houses you see when they had them farms and all that crazy shit. It literally looks like that, but they built it into a dorm. So when you go in there, there's like a basement, a downstairs, and an upstairs. The downstairs was for like trustees and reintegration. Upstairs was too. They wear these uniforms and they go outside the fence. The basement was right in row. So it's this real creepy basement. It has a dorm on the right and a bathroom on the left. But you're only supposed to do 5 to 7 days in there, and then they decide where they want to put you. When we was down there, we had a real rowdy ride-in. Like half of us came from level drop from 3s to 2s, or was lateral from a 2 to a 2. The other half were all from reception. So mind you, most of these people don't even have electronics yet. A lot of them never been to prison. But we got stuck down there for 3 weeks because the second round of COVID hit. So the captain was pissed, because he even came down and yelled at us and made an announcement and said, "I can't wait to get you motherfuckers out of here, because you guys are on some bullshit." Like the DVD player out the day room came up missing. They broke it, popped it open, made a tattoo gun. There was even the second TV, they broke the speakers off. We was listening to music. Hella fights in the bathroom down there. Just so rowdy at all times, because it was a lot of convicts and people who were used to like prison, because it wasn't their first time. And he wasn't used to that, the captain, because he was like 5 to 7 days, new writing comes, it's whatever. But we were the only time that people stayed down there for 3 weeks. And what's wild is, I mean, my time down there flew. I got some actual decent memories in that block. For being in prison, them 3 weeks, I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna go into some separate story times on a separate video. Fights, I'm on part 5 now of my fight stories because I just did one last night. This photo was black and white when I found it. And I do not know why it turned red. I don't know why. And it's crazy because they say this place is cursed. But it showed up like this. That's the front when you first pull in. Here's that building. Maybe somebody could let me know what it's called. But it's where you go for classes, programs, and medical's also up there. Over here to the right, I just can't remember the name of it. But over here to the right, you got like a tunnel that leads underground. Because mind you, this is really old place, so like the old Underground Railroad and all that, somehow I think it's connected, but it's like a sewage drain, but it's big enough for like 3 people to walk in. And there's a gate. People joke around and fantasize like, where does it come out on the other end? And there's a CO who's supposed to watch that at all times, but it has like a lock on it. It would be easily figured out and broken, but I'm sure they got the other side locked. It does come out underneath of the fence though, so like if you were to go through that tunnel, you would literally escape right off the property. Here's F2 and F1. I did a story about that last night, my part 4 fight story. Around over here is I-dorm. I'm about to show some photos and I'm pretty sure they're in there, but I can't be sure because a lot of these blocks look the same. But I-dorm, to me, as far as I know, to my knowledge, is the biggest dorm in Ohio because there's 5 streets. Most prisons, even in Marysville, girls prison, and all our other joints have 3 streets. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And it's in an open dorm. This place, I-dorm, is huge. They call it the Island. And it's a really big, place with, you got a shower area, just everything like most spots, but twice the size. It's over there by that church, kind of. I'm about to show some photos, but when I was there, F2 and I-dorm were the most rowdiest spots. I'm not sure if this is 1st and 2nd Street, meaning that 3rd, 4th, and 5th is over here, because like I said, a lot of them look the same. The next photo is a close-up version of this, and I'm going to show you something. So you got inmates sleeping, somebody over here looking straight at the camera. He looks real familiar, but I'm not sure if it's who I think it is. If you look straight ahead, there's a bubble TV. If you ever wondered what that was, when people say that, it's the old ones, not the flat screens. You got somebody like reading a book, but they went in there and did an article on how they were overcrowded. I'm almost positive this is the reintegration dorm, which I was getting into next. There's a dorm that is specifically for people who go outside of the fence, but the fact that they're wearing blues, I don't think it's them. I just look so clean. Maybe someone else could tell me where this is. They got them little cabinets. It's very clean looking. I don't know what dorm this is, so it kind of threw me off. Because like I said, if they were wearing the orange the khakis, that would be reintegration. So this just must be like a really clean honor dorm. Mind you, this could have been 10, 15 years ago. So this place is not very, very big, but it's like a medium-sized spot compared to some places I've been to. You can see it's like in the middle of nowhere. It definitely has some windy like hills when you're coming through there. And there was like the side of this, I wouldn't call it a cave or a mountain, but it reminded me of like the Nelson Ledges Quarry Park. When we were riding by, you could see the side of the rock from the inside of the earth, and it was up higher. So we were coming through like these dark areas where the trees in the shade lets no sun come through, and it was creepy. It reminded me of something out of like Silent Hill. So for people to say this place is haunted, I get it. Now, I've always had night terrors and nightmares really bad. That's my normal. But there are some people here who claim that they would have things messing with them in their sleep. They would hear things, see things, especially in that basement in M-dorm. There's COs who claim in the middle of the night while everyone's asleep, they've had strange experiences. Something ain't right with this place, but it's stained with a lot of bad stigma. I got 10 seconds left. People in the comments, let me know what you know or what you've heard. about Lancaster and its history, its haunted history.